Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with the Hangout and Highlight session. And I'm so excited to have this guy on with us. We've done some work a few times. I consider him a brother. A honorary member of their family, maybe.
Absolutely, you know
of
it.
the Ogunyemi family. But man, Major Lou Ogunyemi, and the Marine Corps, great guy. Has been blessed and fortunate to achieve some neat things. I just wanted to have him on and highlight him and his journey. So first, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out on the Success Chronicles.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, Chip. And for everybody out there listening and watching, I want you to know that my first interview, I had to look it up before the show, 7 years ago, there was somebody who let me come on their show and pretend I knew what I was talking about. And now 7 years later, he's bringing me back to pretend I know what I'm talking about. But it was Chip, man. To be honest with you, I had never been on a podcast before, never sat in front of a camera. I did a little bit of speaking, at church and things of that nature, but never actually, interacted with people, especially not for somebody to come back and repeat what the things I was saying. And I'll add that, the framework that I use even to this day really was founded for Success Chronicles. It was founded because you gave me an opportunity. So I want to publicly give you your flowers, man. And I definitely appreciate you giving us the opportunity. And you definitely know you're an honorary member of the family anytime, anytime, any day. You know it.
That's awesome, man. I'm just gonna say that's dope. Oh, wait a minute. I jumped ahead. We'll let them know. We'll let them know about that here in a little bit. But yeah, just the deep, for me, I'll just say too, come from a great family, kudos to your parents. Great foundation of faith, hard work, morals, principles. You have, family, siblings that are all highly successful, doing great things. And so it's my honor and privilege to highlight greatness, man. I think, from the family, you are an amazing family. You guys are all great. And it's my honor to have you on, and grateful that the big man has allowed us to cross paths.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Certain people that come in your life, and man, it's just an honor. And it's just every time we get together, it's a good time. It's no different, man. No different here. But if you don't mind, let's dive into it. Tell the audience, a little bit about who you are, your background, and kind of track it to now, so they have an idea of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chip. And so I came from a big family. That, as you're alluding to, my parents raised six of us. There's two girls and four boys. Quite honestly, I believe my sisters are the only ones in the household who had sense out of all six of us. The rest of us probably didn't have that much sense in our heads, but God blessed us to where we actually made it out and did something with our lives. And so I grew up, I was the fifth of six. And I actually graduated from Grambling State University with a degree in computer information systems. Immediately upon graduating, I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. And then the rest has been history. I've had the opportunity to work with some phenomenal Marines, travel the world, learn about different cultures, and grow with others. So it's been really a good opportunity, not just to learn more about myself, but to truly learn about more people and interact with them and be enforced in environments with people that you probably wouldn't have known or even tried to interact with otherwise. So I would say my Marine Corps career has definitely been enriching, to say the least, and they continue to give me opportunities to truly grow myself as not just a leader, but as a person. And then on the other side, I founded Parent Child Connect. So Parent Child Connect was founded really as a book series first. My idea was to find ways to get these adults to sit down with children and help guide them and connect with them. And so that's what the book series is all about. It's children's books, picture books. And it was really just trying to get, parents to sit down or adults to sit down with children and guide them and have these connective moments and create teachable and memorable experiences. From there, the combination of my Marine Corps experience and in Parent Child Connect I really found myself talking a lot about leadership and mentorship and guidance to children and families, and then trying to help these parents, even when they go to work, and trying to find how they lead their team and all the things that they're learning at home, how do they apply it in the workplace? And so I started, exploring that a little bit more and trying to figure out how we can do that. And really what came from that is that I needed to really establish a more firm foundation in the leadership place. And so that's why I started getting to the leadership world a couple of years ago and trying to help mentor emerging leaders. So really still at the same kind of foundation with Parent Child Connect. We're trying to find ways to connect with others, to develop them and lead them to be better and take over the organization when we go beyond our tenure. So that's really a lot about me. And that's just to explain how I got to where I am now, both in the Marine Corps and with my Parent Child Connect brand.
It's good. It's such a great thing and feeling when you can take the thing that you've been blessed and fortunate to experience and learn, right, and take those lessons and use that to be a blessing with others. And so, like as I, heard you talk about the parent-child connect, I was thinking about your upbringing,
Mhm.
right? As I heard you talk about, the Marine Corps and those experiences, I thought about, the fundamentals, the discipline that's been instilled in you, as well as what you've learned through those experiences and how you've taken like both of those, like you said, and molded them together and brought you into what you do now. And I think the word that comes up for me is leadership,
Mhm.
right? And so um, it's really cool when we realize in our life, wait, I have some pretty cool stuff that's pouring into me, like when you have that epiphany, right? And then it's man, it's really neat when you can see you putting that into action
Mhm.
and developing that too, from your firm foundation. And so, you have a new resource that recently worked on, and let's talk about that because I think that this will be a blessing to so many people.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, really, the new resource, it's a toolkit. It's called Lead Last 21 Counterintuitive Principles for Becoming an Effective Leader. Now, the reason I wrote this book, and you hear me call them counterintuitive, that sounds like marketing. But let me tell you, what you're just saying is spot on. What parents grew up and teaching us and trying to help mentor and guide us are the fundamentals that we've sort of shifted away from. The things like connecting with others, the things like learning more about yourself, all those things we sort of shifted away from. And so now these points are counterintuitive, but in reality, all I'm telling people is that we need to go back to the things that work. We need to adopt the fundamentals that work. And that's why I came up with this book. And so it has 21 principles that are broken up in three parts. The first part is called Who Are You? And that means that we're just trying to find ways to understand ourselves, understand how we can be better people, and understand how we even what makes us tick, what makes us make decisions. How do we come to the decisions that we came to? All these kind of things. And I'm encouraging people to explore themselves and figure out who they are. Why is that important and why is it counterintuitive? It's because a lot of us, we join these organizations and we go through these leadership training academies, we go through college, and everything that we go through is really trying to mold us and form us into something else without us looking back and figuring out how we became what we are today. And so it's hard to say that I'm going to shape you into something else if I don't know who you are. That means I'm just like really shaping the outer layer and I'm not truly shaping the internal person. And so that's where we start. We start with shaping figuring out how you got to where you are, understand the root cause of all the decisions you make and the insecurities and all those things. So that way you can lead from a place of transparency and purity. The second is, who are you leading? This is one of the things that, again, is counterintuitive because in many cases, we go into an organization and we almost want to lead people like the robots. We want to pretend as if, we could say and do whatever we want and they're going to respond to us. And here's what I found and do my research for Lead Last is that the Gen Z, this generation that's coming in, they're not accepting that. As a United States Marine, I can tell you that yes, I can tell Marines to go do stuff, and they're probably going to do it. But am I truly influencing them to make a difference? The answer is probably no. And in a lot of cases, I think we have to learn how to be more influential, and that's really what we're looking for. So learning who we're leading, learning how to connect with them so we can influence them. And then lastly, we're talking about how are you leading? And this is really the science behind it. again, a lot of this I call it counterintuitive. For example, we talk about leading humans and robots. I put that in air quotes because that's the verbiage I used in there. But we're talking about, like, how do modern leaders deal with the challenges of implementing technology instead of just chasing the shiny object, which we sometimes tend to do because we're trying to get promotions, we're trying to get those bullet points for our evaluations and things of that nature. So how do we truly accomplish success and build a culture in an environment where people may be craving those quantifiables? Like, how do you do that? And that's really what that third part is all about. So that's Lead Last in a nutshell. It came from a place of me studying other leaders. Honestly, I was just journaling for myself to learn. And then when I started seeing trends in both good and bad from many leaders I was encountering and studying, I decided, okay, well, why not put this in a book and do some research? And then once I did that, I decided to go ahead and try to publish it with the world. So that's really what Lead Last is all about.
That's so good, man. Lots of good nuggets there. You talk about, who you are, um, who you're leading, and how you're leading. I think when we can have those prompts, and we can have prompts for anything we do that sets us up for the path of which we are going to lead, or the path for our actions, right? To follow what our thoughts and our principles are, right? To be in alignment. Yeah. So I know off air you talked about like the audience, talk to us a little bit about that, kind of, the level of the book, and, who you're thinking that it's going to target to really help them.
Yeah, absolutely. So emerging leaders is the target audience. These are people who, all the way from like your high school leadership programs, high school and college leadership programs, through, I would say, probably like 10 years, maybe 15 years in an organization, where they're having an opportunity now to have their first real leadership experience. Because save the military organizations, in many organizations like corporations that I talk to and I interview for this book, they talked about their first like real leadership director position didn't come till 15, sometimes 20 years in organization. They may have had team leads in the first 10 years, but they truly didn't have to lead the big portions of the organization until that 15, 20-year mark. And so really the way it's written, it's written in a way to where it's sort of presented to others. It's almost like things I wish I knew when I first came into the leadership world, but it's a little bit of addition of, hey, here's the actual research that backs it. It talks about your military, some military examples. It talks about some corporate examples. It talks about a lot of different things, but it's really for that core group of emerging leaders. And quite honestly, I interviewed some executives for it across the branches, across the industries. I interviewed executives just to understand, okay, what would you want your emerging leaders to know? And this is exactly what they told me. I actually went and pulled information directly from them, and they told me that, hey, this is what we want them to know. If I had a leadership program, a development program, here's what they want to know. So I wrote it down in a book, and I published it for that group.
So good. I just like, as you were talking about all of that, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, what's your rank in the Marine Corps?
I'm a major.
Okay. And I was thinking about, uh like, they don't just let average people in the Marine Corps, right? So like, I'm piecing it together, right, as you're talking. I'm like, man, this dude really got a lot of like leadership uh experience, right? You've seen it from, having to follow leaders, and I'm sure we all have had, good and, not so good leaders, right? We all have that, right? But then, in striving to be a leader, you're in leadership roles,
Mhm.
right? And so, we all have had points as leaders where we have, strived to be good leaders, and we've, had to have some learning lessons as a leader,
That's
right?
right.
And so I think the main thing is, man, like, man, I think I can't wait to get my hands on it. Like, I just know it's gonna be great. I love the breakdown of the three parts. I love the principles and all of those things. What I want to do now, man, is just maybe like give me a couple of benefits that you see from a leader. Like, why does a leader need to have this book in their hands?
Yeah. So first, I want to comment on what you talked about. One of the benefits of taking care of yourself, drinking water and working out is that you look younger. That's one thing I have to say. We look younger. And when people look at me, they're like, what is this guy even talking about? And I love that. It's both a compliment and a negative. But I'll say that when I joined the Marine Corps, the first thing I had when I checked into my first unit, I was in charge of 80 people, like 80 people. And so I had to learn very quickly how to lead. And when I posted about this book on social media, man, my group chats lit up because they knew good and well, without even reading the book, that a lot of the things that I'm talking about are going to be based on mistakes that I made, right? And so it was just funny because all the emojis and gifts and all the things in my group, some of them I told you, hey, I'm about to cancel you, man. Stop texting me because we were just laughing so hard. You could even see some of the comments on Facebook, and I even added a picture on there of me, leading last and learning about how to be a better leader. But to answer your question, why do people need lead last? Well, number one, I'll tell you that as you look, I always like to flip the table around. And this is what I recommend for anybody who's trying to be a better leader or a better professional in an organization. Ask the question, ask the executives, what are you looking for in a leader? And that's where I start. I start with knowing that I actually did talk to executives. In fact, they gave some very good input to the process, to the book when I actually sent it to them. So I sent it out just trying to get some pre-reads, some beta tests, or beta readers, just to know, okay, what is this book really about? Does it resonate with people? Should it resonate with your guys? Like, what do you think I should be telling people? And that's how I built the book. So it really is built from an executive perspective saying, hey, if I had a brand new leader, here's what I want them to know. The second thing is it's written as a concise toolkit. So I wrote it with 200 pages because I am not a fan. And as you already alluded to, I'm in the Marine Corps. I love efficiency. I'm a very regimented approach. I'm not a fan of a book with a lot of fluff. I think there's way too many books out there that just have 500 pages, and most of them are fluff. And so I wrote 200 pages of just concise information that people can actually pick up. They can follow along in the book. They can write in the margins. They can take notes. They can go and share with other people. That's what the book is designed to do. It's designed as a toolkit, not just a thing to put on your shelf and pontificate. In fact, I'll tell people, if you're going to just pontificate about it, yes, I would love to sell you the book. I really want you to buy it. But if you're just going to put it on the shelf and pontificate, it's not for you. It really isn't. This is for somebody who wants to take this guide and either use it themselves to better their leadership or hand it to somebody else and say, hey, man, this is a phenomenal book, and I want to walk through these terminologies or walk through these principles with you. So really, that's why people need lead last. It's to make themselves better or to make people around them better. And I believe that it's written as a concise toolkit that they can actually use to take notes and reference back to and grow.
Man, yeah, everybody's gonna be lining up at the door now to get that thing. Let's go. All right, what I want to do now is just maybe throw out a few words. I always like to do some word play, right? I just want to throw out maybe a couple words and you talk about what comes to mind as you hear these words or phrases. You okay with that?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, so I'll make the first one. I'll make this easy for you. Let's go lead last.
All that means is there's things that we need to do first before we can be an effective leader. We're taught that we need to come in a room, we need to have this command presence and have this, I'll call it verbrosity. I hope I didn't just make up a word, probably did, but we have this thing about us that almost like an arrogance because the company has paid us more money to come in and have all the answers. But there's other things that we need to do to become an effective leader. We don't have to have the title first before we start working on ourselves and becoming the leader that we need to be. And that's what Lead Last is all about.
It's good. All right, let's go principle driven.
That means you have found a science to truly, let's say you found a science and a way to truly achieve repeatable results. And that's the way I look at it. It's really talking about knowing how to achieve success over and over again. And when you say principle driven to me, I think about, and before I think about the values aspect of it, I legitimately think about just a list of things that you're going to do over and over again to achieve success. And that's what I think it means to be principle driven, and specifically looking at the principle in context of something that you're following and not necessarily just I would say a more abstract value.
It's good. Okay. Let's go living and learning.
Living and learning. The first thing that comes to my mind is finding ways to understand how your experiences on this earth can contribute to you getting better. And that's what living and learning is. It's recording it, it's journaling, and it's understanding the world in context of your experiences and your relationships and the things that you're finding the opportunity to do from day to day.
All right. The last one I want to give you is legacy.
Mm. Legacy is one of my favorite words, and I believe is overused and misunderstood. Legacy to me means finding ways to ensure longevity within whatever organization or family that you're in. It's making sure that they have the ability to achieve success well beyond your tenure or well beyond your time on earth. It's not necessarily just about investing and having something that you can hand down to the next generation that you can physically hand down. Rather, it's something that the generations after you can take and apply and use to continue to achieve success, whether you're there or not.
Love that. Well, Major, we come to the end. I'd love for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you, check you out, and show you some love and get the book, show you some love with all of the things you have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to know anything about me, you can go to my website, which is parent-child-connect.com. You can find my blog there. You can find the resources, all the links that I have to my books and socials. And you can also find my content partnership with YouVersion Bible app. And really coming soon through Amplify Publishing Group, they're going through the design process now. You're going to be able to go to leadlastbook.com. And you'll go on there and you'll be able to find the book, find out more about me, find out about all the praise that it's received from corporate audiences and from leadership strategists. Again, that's coming really soon, leadlastbook.com. If you want to connect right now, parent-child-connect.com. I hope to see you there.
There it is. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. Always a treat when the good guys get to meet. But thanks so much for your time and keep doing your thing. I wish you continued success.
Yes, sir. Chip, I definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for checking out this Hangout and Highlight session. Go show them some love. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Go get it.